And welcome to the Crawford Podcasting Network for another All Rell and Good. This one we're doing a video version of All Rell and Good. Yes, you're going to have to look at my ugly mug, but you got, Mr. Cross between Billy D. Williams and Robert Guillaume on the other side. You're talking about Richard Rellford. You're on All Rell and Good. Richard Rellford, the four-time starting University of Michigan in the mid-'80s, two-time Big Ten champion. Just a great dude, and when you're a dude, that means you're a good guy, and Rich is certainly that. And we've had so much fun. We had so much fun in this podcast last year, Rich, and talking about the Wolverine basketball team, and we're going to talk about that obviously in a few minutes, but this has so much possibility here on StreamYard when we're going to go into, we can bring in film, we can have you break down, some of the play, Shawnee Brown, what did he do wrong, Rich? You were there, that kind of stuff, and then bring in some guests. Do you think Sean Higgins would like coming out with us? I mean, if we brought Shawnee in here, we'd never get a word in, right? If Sean came on here.
That's forward. That would be nice. But we're going to get Glenn as well, because I told you last time Glenn went off on us because we haven't had him on the show yet.
No, we're going to have Glenn. We'll do that real quick. And we'll have, Gary Grant. We get Butch on here, Butch Wade, and Rob Henderson. We'll get anybody. And then talk. And then we, get T. Mills, on here. He's doing the color for the Wolverine basketball team now. And 5-0 are the Wolverines. Where are you at with them? I mean, that was weird. I tell you what, let me give you a little bit of trivia. When was the last time Michigan played Toledo before last night? Do you have any idea?
1992.
No. You were playing for the Wolverines the last time. I think it was your freshman 82. I heard that last night. You probably don't even remember in all your vast starts.
You know what? I don't, but I'm sure we beat them.
Yeah, you beat them. But when I was in school on a New Year's Eve, I mean, Toledo had a guy named, I think his name was Harvey Knuckles, was on that team. Some other good play. They came up on New Year's Eve and beat Michigan at Chrysler in an empty Chrysler Arena. Alan Hardy was on, Tommy Staten was on that team, and they upset them. I go, oh my God, you lose to Toledo? But Toledo is one of those three teams in the MAC that are Michigan's beaten. They should be MAC champions right now, because they won the MAC. They've beaten the three best teams, BG, Ball State, and Toledo.
Well, you know what? The teams that they beat, we know that Bowling Green is picked to win the conference, the MAC, and UT is picked to be in the tops. So it's not like we had easy games, and we talked about this before. What happens is when you play those teams, those guys are trying to show the Michigan coaches they should have been recruited as well. And so they're going to play hard. I told you before.
You did.
UD, we played the University of Detroit. We were ranked high, number 2 in the country.
Right.
And every time we played those guys, they came at us, and we never beat them by more than 3 points. So it's not an easy situation, and it makes you better. No. That's all it does. It makes you better.
No, it does, and I think you brought that, you illustrated that last time, Rich, and I think it's shown up not only for Michigan and Michigan State, because Western Michigan gave Michigan State a really tough game for 3/4 of that game, and then we saw what Oakland did to Michigan, take them in overtime, and UT Mercy almost beat Michigan State. I mean. It's that, that chip on the shoulder. Man, they got that massive chip on the shoulder when those inside kids go up there. Hey, what's going on here? I want to show you you missed out on me.
That's exactly how they feel, Tom. And what we do is, we just have to come back, man, and we just have to start to remember where we go to school at. And we have to play twice as hard. Even if we play against a Big Ten team. We have to play twice as hard against these MAC teams and ACC teams and SEC teams. That's just the nature of the beast.
You're right. Okay, the Wolverines are 5-0. This COVID year is crazy. It's like you're navigating COVID as well as the opponent. You don't know if you're going to play. Hats off to the Toledo Rockets. Okay, and that's where you live down there. I mean, that's your local team now, the Rockets. Yes, it is. And they're 3-3 now. But the fact that on an impromptu basis, NC State canceled. I had to cancel because of COVID. couldn't come up, and Toledo in the span of a couple of days they're coming up, or 50 miles up the road, and you made that trek. It's not too far, and I give him I give him a lot of credit. It's almost like preparing for an NCAA tournament game. Well, who do we have in 2 days? Let's go to the film. That's what it kind of was last night.
But it was good for Toledo as well, because this helps them as much as it helps us. We need to keep playing in order to be ready for when the Big Ten season starts. I just think that the funny thing is one of the Toledo coaches, I trained his son at the Y.
Really?
And so I see him every week.
Nice. Well, I'm telling you what, they had they had some shooters. This Littleson, they had a guy who hit 3 balls, with everybody in his face. I mean, it was they did the typical, play tough with them 10 minutes. Michigan pulled away. And I'm telling you what, well, this, as we speak right now, and I haven't done my research this afternoon because Austin Davis, the starting center for Michigan, was going to have some tests undergoing. But I was really nervous when I saw that injury. It looked like an unprovoked injury. And that's when you start worrying about Achilles heel, right?
I worried about it when I first saw it, but I also saw how he walked off the floor. And he limped, but not as bad as when you've had your Achilles torn. Because I remember seeing Kobe. When Kobe came off, because Kobe continued to play another play before he came off the floor with his torn Achilles. But listen, I was just telling my son, the problem I have is I think that Austin and Hunter play well together, and now what we're getting ready to do is if he's out for any amount of games, where Hunter has to take on that load.
Yeah,
and I love what Juwan says when he says the combination works. And now that you're putting Hunter into that position, well, me personally, I think he's going to do well with it. But I just wish I had Austin as well because I like both of them together.
Oh, my God. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Rich, because I think about, Michigan's a 10-deep team. But I think the strongest variable they have going for them is the 1-2 punch of Austin Davis and Hunter Dickinson. It's like last night, Austin got 12 minutes and Hunter got 23, and then later on, Brandon Johns, they're going to have to incorporate him in the 5 because he might have to play it, and this is a challenge for him, and he can do it. But man, when you have that, there's nobody in the Big Ten. Well, Illinois had it, but there's not too many teams that have that 1-2 punch at the 5 where the guy can go out and get a blow, and the other guy comes in fresh, and he's. And then the other, the opposition pivot man's got his tongue hanging out, basically.
Well, and that's exactly why you use 2 big guys because you're going to wear their guys down if they don't have enough. Right. And so I just want Austin to be okay, and I have no problem if Hunter has to play the whole time. But we have Johns, and I think with Brandon has for me. Made me feel I'm comfortable when he's in, and I know that he's gonna rebound and he's gonna score, and that's what we need in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm telling. Well, I tell you what, it was a good win. Now they got a few days off here, but I wanted to kind of poke at some of it, break down a little bit of this for our listeners, Rich, about Michigan beyond Hunter Dickinson and Austin Davis, and we hope that he is better, but. Mike Smith, man, he had some if he would hit some of those 3, he had some great looks that have just not been going down. He had 28 minutes, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc, or I take that back, 1 from 3 from beyond the arc, 2 of 6 from the field. But if we could count on Mike Smith hitting a better percentage, look out this team because he gets looks because he creates them or he just gets them in the ball rotation.
Well, I think he creates them as well. I like Mike because I told you last year when he was getting recruited, we sat next to each other in the arena. I'll tell you what, one of the things I like about him is he's always energized. When he's on that flow, he's going to play hard. And when you play hard, a lot of good things happen to you. I always tell people, I'll take a kid who plays hard over a talented kid that don't want to play hard.
Yeah, no, I got that. And Franz Wagner got a little bit better in the groove. Now he had 14 points, five guys in double figures for the Wolverines, Rich. And Isaiah Livers, who had an off night on Sunday night, comes back, 16 points, a really solid game, got 6 boards. he's still the guts and glue of the maize and blue, right? Isaiah Livers.
Without a doubt, Isaiah is the leader, and I
Yeah.
like the way Isaiah leads. And he's never in somebody's face screaming and yelling. He pulls them to the side and he tells them because I think Isaiah believes in leading by example. If Isaiah's out there playing hard, then everybody else is going to play hard. And so that's a good thing. That's a good thing for us.
I get it. So how do you think this is? Interesting quote that Isaiah let post game last night about, and this COVID thing has got to be wearing down on kids. I mean, you were away from home at Christmas, okay, and you didn't get much time to go back to Florida, if not at all. Did you? Did you go back to Florida?
Yeah. Well, what they did was we would go back, and we would only get like 3 or 4 days, but it was never Christmas Day. I was never home for 4 straight years for Christmas Day because we got to be back in school because we have tournaments and we're practicing.
Right.
And so one of the sacrifices you make, man, when you decide to play college basketball, you better be ready for all the things that comes with it. Okay.
So last night, Isaiah Livers made a comment about, they got a Christmas Day, they're going to play Nebraska. Okay. There's Big Ten games on Christmas Day. And I was on the Zoom, and it just made me think of that this is going to be wearing them down emotionally. Not only everybody's nervous about making sure they stay healthy, and there's been a lot of basketball teams starting to get hit by COVID, and we know what's happened to the football teams and stuff, including Michigan. But I could just tell you got no fans, you got isolation. You can't go home. You can't see your parents. You get the accolades, the slap and fly with the Maze Rage going out. All of that is gone. How difficult do you think that? Well, put yourself in that position as a former player. What would that be like for you?
Well, it's tough because in Chrysler Arena, most arenas that you go to, you like that crowd noise.
Yeah.
You can pipe in as much crowd noise as you want, but it's not the same. It's not the same as seeing people there.
It's fake noise.
Right. And for the players, I tell you before, we look at it, it's like a practice because you have no fans. But you can't play it like a practice because it's a game that counts. And so you have to be ready to go. And I've been watching these games, these college games, and listen, we have to have a way to put people in the stands because I watched the ACC tournament last night with Indiana. And
how did that? So what? I saw that, Rich, and how do they? I mean, how do they have different standards of compliance? They had 3,000 fans down there.
Yes.
That's how they beat Indiana because they had the freaking pep band there.
And I saw that.
I go, how is that not? That's not a good thing to me. I think you got to be consistent, don't you?
Yes, I think that if the ACC and those guys can do it, Tom, we should be able to do it as well. Because I noticed what happened was they got families together. And with families together, I think you can social distance that way. Because that's what I saw. Now, I should also tell you, the kid that hit the last shot against Indiana, I have to tell you, he's a kid that came up in my basketball academy.
Oh, really?
Scotty Barnes. Scotty came up in my basketball academy when he was in his 7th grade, 8th grade. And
he's a true freshman.
He's a true freshman.
Okay, so I was watching the game, so it was kind of it was kind of a runner off the glass, was it? I'm trying to think. Were you running down the left side?
Yes, it was a run off the glass coming off the left side, off the wrong foot.
Yeah, it was off the wrong foot.
And it showed me how much confidence this kid got in himself. Because his middle school, for 2 straight years, never lost a game. They were undefeated for 2 straight years. Wow. And he started a tradition at that school. And so, I have a lot of faith in our Big Ten guys. But the funny thing is watching the Florida State game last night, Leonard Hamilton is their coach.
Yeah, no, he's a great coach. I've always said that.
He recruited me when he was at Kentucky with Joby Hall. And so I've talked to Leonard and through some other mutual friends, and he'll say the same thing to me all the time. Rich, you should have came with him.
That's awesome. I knew that was going to be a good hire for Florida State, and it's proven that. And because the ACC is down this year. What's going on with Duke, Rich? I mean, Michigan State took care of them, and Illinois just waxed them.
Listen, I heard Coach K last night talk about the pandemic and what's going on, and he don't mind if they don't play anymore.
Hey, why don't we just call this thing off? Come on, guys. Come on.
Well,
it's like, I don't mean to. I mean, I remember when he had back surgery. He had that back surgery finally done when his team was like really struggling. Well, I think I'll just. You remember that year a few years ago, and I hate to do that because I hate to do that, but what bothered me was that why would you say that, Rich, the day after Illinois just rolled you? What can you wait a week and then it just doesn't look so bad? It doesn't look so reactionary. It's like, you know what? I'm going to take my ball and go home. Come on, guys. Let's just call this thing off. Didn't you feel that from Kay?
I got to tell you, I love Coach K because Johnny Dawkins, who's one of my McDonald All-American buddies, went there. And that's when we all started a relationship with Coach K. And I'm going to tell you, Tom, I agree with you. He should have waited because what it looks like is sour grapes to me.
It's sour grapes!
Because Big Ten teams are dragging you. They're dragging you. And so I would have waited, Coach, because now it looks like you don't want to play because you're losing. And I know Coach K is a lot tougher than that, but that's what it looks like. No,
it does. And anyway, I mean, but bottom line, the problem with Duke, we talk about basketball in general here on All Rell and Good, because I got the man behind the screen over here who knows all about basketball. He played it, and he played 15 seasons of pro ball. And how many countries now did you play?
I think it was 9. When I left San Antonio with the Spurs, I went to Israel, and that's where it started.
All right. So a lot of basketball under this man's belt. And so when you look at Duke, you probably look at it much more in a higher, more sophisticated way than I do. But I mean, I see a guy. I don't see a guy who can make something happen like Trey Jones, would last. When things are dire, just let Trey will get us going here. They got nobody to get them going. They don't have much talent in terms of make something happen kind of guy, do they?
No, they don't. But they got a lot of young freshmen and sophomores. But listen, I'm kind of surprised that they don't compete as hard as I thought they would compete, because you're right, Tom. They don't have the talent like they've been having over the past few years. And I think with time, they should be okay, because I look at a bunch of other schools who are the same way. North Carolina, all those guys, they're the same way out there. So, I'm hoping they develop their guys.
So Big Ten play, non-conference play is over with. Back to the Wolverines, Rich. We'll go back to Juwan Howard's team now. So they play this coming Sunday, 2 o'clock. They play Penn State. Again, no home court advantage. And Penn State lost a tough one to Seton Hall the other night. I don't know if you saw that. Penn State, Where do you see? How do you think is Penn State a threat to be Michigan in that particular game? And we're at the start of the Big Ten season. Let's get your progression for a 20-game slate. As we're sitting right now, and we can fine-tune this as we go. Mm-hmm. How out of 20 games in Big Ten, how many of the Wolverines win?
I see us winning at least 15.
15?
Oh, you're like 15? Right. You know why I say 15? Because we're only playing now. Once the Big Ten season start, you said it earlier. There is no home court advantage anymore. Yeah. Because there is no fans, and I think that we have some of the best talent in the whole Big Ten. I've seen Illinois. I've seen Iowa, and those are the elite. Those are 2 of the elite teams in the Big Ten.
Those two to me are big cut above everybody. Then you got Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Michigan.
Right, top 5.
Those are your top 5. Michigan was picked much lower. I mean, I don't know if they had Indiana, and Indiana didn't impress me. Michigan. When I watched Indiana last night against FSU, I said to myself, Michigan's a better team.
And that's exactly how I looked at it, Tom. I looked at it the same way because I believe in bigs. We have a lot of bigs. And with Isaiah and those guys out front,
Isaiah's 230 pounds, and he's a lean strong. He's a deceiving 230 pounds. He's 6'7", 230. I mean, or 6'9", 230, whatever. I mean, he's thick. I mean, he could be a tight end if he, put more weight on him. But, but when I look at Luka Garza and what Iowa's got going, we don't, Michigan didn't play them till March. Right. Yeah, so that's good. That's good.
Well, I gotta tell you, I know Luka Garza is probably the best player in the Big Ten. But I got
no doubt. Best player in the country.
Right, in the country. I believe that someone like Hunter Dickerson at 7 feet will give him a hard time. Because the problem, the thing for Gaza is he's shooting over everybody.
Yeah.
At 6'11".
Yeah.
And he's tough as nails. And so I think you put Austin and
Hunter in there. Yeah.
We got two guys that can beat on him.
No. Now, what if you? Let me ask you this: would you ever put them both on the court at the same time or not? That doesn't work. You would. Because so who would sift out and play the 4? Hunter. He's more versatile.
Yes. And plus, he can put the ball on the floor. Hunter would definitely play the 4. But Hunter can play the 4.
I mean, Austin's a 2-dribble dude, and not much beyond that, right? Maybe,
but he has a really nice spin move, though.
Oh no, but he's doing that spin move. He's doing that spin move at the 5. He's not doing that spin move at the 4.
Right, and that's why I'm gonna leave him at the 5 and put Hunter at the 4 because Hunter has a great spin move as well. You saw that last night when he spent and got the dunk underneath the basket. I just think that those two guys together, you won't play much, but I keep telling everyone, it's like when Houston had the Twin Towers. It can happen. Those can cause problems for you.
Yeah. Well, it's a matchup nightmare, I would think. And the other thing is, if with this depth that Juwan has, a 10-man rotation, Terrence Williams, a true freshman, he doesn't back down to anybody. He plays without fear. And he doesn't fear making mistakes. He puts himself out there, and I like that in a freshman.
Well, I like him, but I'm gonna tell you, I really like Shawnee as well because for me, Shawnee is like, he's not only tough as nails, but he's a utility guy.
Well, now he's
everywhere.
You see Shawnee Brown. I mean, he's out there. He's jacked like all the time. Yes. Even when he's into his like 8th or 9th minute of action, he's got a high motor. Because he does, he spends a lot of energy just, getting excited. I love it. I mean, he's in really good shape, I think.
And you know what? I think that their conditioning shows because it comes in the second half of games in the last 10 minutes. They look fresh. They still look fresh. And so, listen, this is going to be a great season, man. I look forward to this. I really do. I'm excited.
No, it is. And I'm excited about all Rell and Good. And now we're on, we're doing this new concept. We can put this out on Facebook. We can put this on YouTube, and we can share it with all our Michigan fans out there. A lot of fans of Richard Rellford. I get a message, man. I always like Rich, man. The dude has some hops. He calls it hop. We call it hops. And then Carlton calls you bounce. You had bounce. You had bounce. It's like, well, how are you? You could jump. That was it. You could jump.
Well, back in the day, that was one of my signature things. Was jumping because my vertical was pretty high. I told you, Tom, my son don't care about that. My son,
I know he doesn't.
He tells me, Tom, he said, Dad, if I was playing when you was playing, I'd dunk all over you. And I used to laugh at him and tell him, and then what you gonna do?
So real before we close out here, tell our listeners about your son. Where is that right now?
Well, Justin's a senior this year. And he starts on varsity. And they've had 2 games, and he was the center of attention in the last game before the governor shut everything down here in Ohio. He had the first half, he had 0. In the second half, he ended up with 15.
Whoa.
And he started off with 3 threes in a row. And so I was excited. Everybody was excited. And right now, since he got the whole telecast, we can't talk to him. His chest is too big right now.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. Well, where are you as a parent now? I mean, with what's going on in the state of Ohio. I mean, and you're real cognizant about COVID, like I am. And I mean, you listen to the medical people, and appreciate what they're going through. But at the same time, you know, then you're like, you want your kid to play. I mean, this is his senior year, right? This year.
Well, I really want my son to play his senior year, but I'm also cautious about COVID because we're still getting cases here. They just found another school here with 6 players, high school kids with COVID, basketball players.
Yeah.
And in our county, that's why they closed it down. I want my son to play, but I also want him to be healthy and safe. And so basketball doesn't come before health, not to me.
No.
I'm a Dr. Fauci fan, and what Dr. Fauci says, I believe.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Rich. Number 40 out of Riviera Beach, Florida, Suncoast High School. 4-year starter of the Michigan Wolverines. Could have played football, but so he said I'll stick with basketball and just keep Bo away and quit trying to tantalizing me with that football stuff, right?
Oh yeah, no, man. I told you that football was because I couldn't go to my high school, Suncoast High School, without playing football. Ask Anthony, he'll tell you.
Yeah. All right, Rich. Well, until next time, be safe, my friend, and we'll break down hopefully a big victory for the Wolverines as they take on Penn State Nittany Lions on Sunday. All Rell and Good, and go Blue, Rich.
Go Blue. Talk to you later, Tom. Thank you.
All right.